Hi everybody, Peter here from the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Welcome! Today something a bit different. The other day I was going to sit down and do some painting and I thought I can do this better and make a better workspace. So what I did is make a portable workstation for my painting which I can move around really easily. And then when I finished doing it I thought I should tell everybody about this because it's kind of handy and I think you might want to make one yourself. So while I haven't gone through all the steps actually showing you how I was building it as I was building it, I'll show you what I've done and I'll give you some pretty clear instructions, and if you want to do something similar, I think you'll find it very easy to build. Okay, let's get started. In some of my old painting tutorials, you'll see my workstation here. Well, this is my new workstation. It's much smaller and more compact, and best of all, it doesn't take up lots and lots of space on the dining table. And because I used to always take up the dining table with my stuff, I thought it was about time that I made something a little bit more portable that I could just pick up and move really easily and put aside and not bother my long-suffering partner with having my paints always set up on the tabletop. So I'm going to show you how to build this, and I'm also going to tell you the thinking behind how I've done this and why there's so few paints in that paint rack. Now the basis of this is just a bit of MDF board, and you can make this thinner than I have if you want to. I just happen to have this piece around. I found this foam stuff in a fabric store and I've attached it with double-sided tape, and then I glued on the top one of my old cutting mats, which you can see I use for painting and have for many years, and I've glued that on the top, and that gives me this nice portable board which won't damage the table underneath because it's got foam on the bottom and it's got a nice painting surface on the top. So this is when I attached that foam to the bottom of the MDF, and you can see I've used lots of this double-sided tape. It's pretty heavy-duty tape, and this is this foam material that I found. You can actually iron it onto material, but I used it just as is. This is after I'd taken the top layer off the tape, and this is all sticky. I'm ready to put down another layer of the foam stuff. Here it is. So I've got 2 layers of this now, and that gives me a nice barrier between my MDF board and the tabletop because I don't want to damage the table in any way. And that tape really attaches it nice and firmly to the MDF. Now for the top, I just have this old cutting mat that I've been using as a painting surface for years, and I've just glued it to the MDF with liquid nails, which is just a tube I got from the hardware store, and it attaches it nice and firmly to the top of the MDF. The funny thing is that I actually cut the MDF before I attached the board, and by a complete coincidence, it was exactly the right size except for a strip up the top. So I made this 500 by 600 millimeters. So you're probably wondering, why do I have so few paints in this workstation as opposed to all the paints I own? Well, for example, I'm painting this kill team right now, and it uses a very limited range of paints. Once I have that number of paints, I don't need all the others because all of these figures are going to be painted with exactly the same number of paints. So why have hundreds sitting out when I just need this many? And here I've just got my basics: black, white, a couple of grey colours. We've got some shading inks, the Null Oil, good old Agrax Earthshade, of course, Seraphim Sepia, Reichland Flesh Shade. This is what I use for basing: Dryad Bark and a Shabti Bone. I've got a basic flesh tone, Cadian Flesh Tone, and then some metal colours: Retributor Armour, Stormhose Silver, Iron Breaker, and Lead Belcher. These are a couple more paints that go well with these particular models in the metallic areas. I'm using Sons of Horus Green in this particular case as well. So I've got a mixture of the exact colours that I need. These are contrast paints: Black Templar, Gore Grunter Fur, Wildwood. They're exact colours for the models, plus the ones I use all the time, like the blacks and the whites. I've got a whole bunch of old brushes I use for dry brushing and stuff like that. Little plastic container with a nice wide base for my water, some paper towel, and of course my wet palette. This one is by Red Grass and I use it all the time. It's just a nice small compact size. So where are all my paints, you ask? Well, in the cupboard I've got 3 of these containers. This one has all my tools in it, my glues and a pin vise and bits of wire and all kinds of things, brush cleaner. That's all really handy to keep in one place. And then I have 2 of these containers that have my paints in them. One of them has all my base coats here, and they're in roughly sort of color order, so I can go for the blues or go for the reds or whatever. So it follows the color spectrum there roughly. And then the other one has my contrast paints and my metallics in it. So I can very easily find paints I need. And the great thing is, this is all sitting in the cupboard. Look at that. So there's my toolbox, my 2 paint boxes, and then on the top the workstation with the paints I'm using for my current painting project. It's all tucked away, and it's really easy to pick it up and transport it out of the cupboard and over to the dining room table, which otherwise is free of paints. And my partner is very happy. My apologies for the audio then, folks. Something went a bit funny with the audio and I didn't want to re-record it all, so I did some fiddling in Final Cut Pro and there you go. Anyway, I hope you found that really interesting. And it was a bit of a revelation for me because for years and years, I've been bringing all of my paints out of that cupboard, setting them all up, and then just using a small percentage of them because you're working on one project at a time. So now I find it really, really handy just to have that simple station that I can go and grab, sit on the dining room table, not damaging the dining room table because it's got foam underneath it, and start painting straight away and get whatever I'm doing done quickly because I'm focused on just that job with just those paints. I'm not distracted by all the other paints that I'm not going to use, and they're not taking up space, and it isn't a hassle to pack up and set up. So I hope you found this interesting, and if you want to whip up one of these yourself, I think you've got all the instructions there to go ahead and do it. Happy painting, everybody. I will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to check out my Tabletop Codex, my fantastic new app. You can download it on the Apple Store. Very, very soon it'll be on the Android store as well. That is happening, don't worry. And yeah, happy gaming, everybody. Bye for now.